Hello everyone! So, let's start again in this particular place because there is a summoning sign from one of the bots, Ruined Amplis. I did also grind a bit of screen. We'll actually see if we can actually get the Pursuer done this day. If I get to fail too many times, we're gonna switch to one of the, multiple... What the fuck are you doing? Get back here.
He's
Follow
summoning a
me.
shade.
Yes.
It's like Yokai Watch, summoning Shady.
The shadow, the true self.
That's not...
It's the same thing, Wibbs.
yeah,
All right. The gimmick with these shades is that unlike normal phantoms, they have like a time limit in order to how much you can actually summon them. So it's best if you actually keep as much of the time that you can have at their disposal. And much like most of the other NPCs, their summoning sign disappears after you defeat the boss of the dungeon, the specific dungeon. So we're gonna try to lead Ruina Alphys, sorry, towards the Pursuer, and hopefully it will be fine. You might have noticed that I'm actually acquired some new fat drip in the meantime, specifically the Falconeer suit. Pretty cool looking actually. It's a bit more heavy on the side, but it's not that bad. Where are you going? Come the fuck on, just follow me, please. Yeah, that's another thing with about NPCs. We're not exactly the smartest tools in the shed.
Yeah, that's the Escape from the City song, but Tio's rendition of it is more angry because the guy just isn't following him.
Rolling around at the speed of being angry.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'd actually love to see a Sonic short or something where Sonic is just pissed at everybody.
That's Shadow. You're getting the wrong character.
No, that's not to say. Hey, that's not to say Sonic can't be angry at something.
I guess.
Like I know. Tails switched his shoes as a prank.
Oh no! What? There was.
That was the plot of Sonic Labyrinth.
Yeah, but this time it's more.
No,
humorous
seriously,
instead
it
of-
was.
Yeah, I
No.
know
Yeah,
that.
I know that.
Robotnik
What I mean
is switching the
what I
shoes
mean
to a non-West design.
What
Question
I
mark.
mean is,
Alright, get behind me.
what I mean is that Tails could do it as just like a more friendly prank, like instead of Sonic running fast, wherever he does run fast, but wherever he runs, it makes farting noises.
Only need a trombone bow.
That's gotta be one fast trombone player.
Great, the magic is not doing that much, but at least I'm providing a distraction to this guy.
You know, what you just suggested sounds like it would be a good sequel to Sonic 2 XL, because he's eating so many of those onion rings, now he's just farting all the time.
Yeah, it'll be reverse Sonic 2 XL. He's fat at the start, but he loses weight the more you run.
Man, this actually... I never tried this particular bot before, but damn, it's pretty good actually. At the very least, it's better than my expectations. Still, watch out again for the grab attack, because that's some bullshit. Fuck.
So, how many of us have seen Doctor Strange 2?
I did in theaters. I would say it was worth it to see it on the big screen, mostly just for the special effects. Plot-wise, it's a case where I think I would have been fine even not having to spend a ticket, but the special effects made it worthy, admittedly.
I mean, I thought it was better conveyed than the original one.
I mean, it's pretty much a completely different story altogether anyway, so...
I mean, it's a different director and all. So.
Yeah.
I love all the horror elements.
Yeah, the one thing
It's one movie that remembers what the PG rating is supposed to fucking be. And even then, again, it's more of a case of, yeah, they just remember what it was supposed to be, not like something that is so groundbreaking. so...
Yeah, it's just like pretty minor.
Oh, there we go. 5. Second
No,
try.
I really enjoyed the movie.
We got the Solar Pursuer and the Ring of Blades. Thanks, bot. Alright, let me check what we just acquired. Where is the soul of a pursuer? Here we go. The pursuer who seeks to the bearer of the sign will not rest until his target is slain. Use the special soul pursuer and blah blah. Okay, the usual thing about the usual thing about bosses' souls in order to actually use to craft the special stuff. And the Ring of Blades, it mentions that it's modeled after the Mad King Knight of Alken's weapon of choice. Increases physical attacks, the kingdoms of Alken and Van long ago flourished on these very grounds. They were both founded by the same man, but were reduced to rivalry and spite. Sort of a parallel to the creation of Rome, founded by the two brothers Romulus and Remus, but that eventually we killed each other for their, discrepancies. Alright, by having defeated the Pursuer, we're technically clear ahead for a new particular dungeon, but I don't think we should get to there immediately. Like, we will actually unlock the bonfire there, but otherwise we might as well not venture it there immediately. Because it's probably a bit out of our league. Instead, we'll actually go back to Majula to see another direction. Easy. Alas, nothing happened. No shit. It's just another tree giant. Oh well.
For other sidetrack stuff, I think the Sonic movie 2 came out since we last did one of these.
Yeah, and the commentaries are not the commentary. The podcast has already been made public, I think. Anyway, giant eagle taking us to that said dungeon that I mentioned.
Oh god, it's Sonic 06.
God damn it! He's kind of like Valley. I forgot the name. Kingly Valley. I forgot.
Yeah,
Kingdom Valley.
Kingdom Valley. There you go. And apparently by the time we got to this dungeon, it became night. How
nice
long?
of this bird to not drop us on the way.
Well, it still did. The Lost Bastille. Specifically, we got dumped into what would be eventually an area that you can unlock, normally on your own. Which means also that you get 2, decent, extra bonus chests with 2 human effigies, always appreciated, and a dull ember. I forgot. I think this is something that I can to show to the blacksmith. Or no, I think it's something else. Here we go. Let me check the description. An ember radiating the dull light. This flame seems near exhausted, but exhibits an eerie resilience. Perhaps this is its ordinary state. If I recall correctly, this is an item that we need for a small quest line that's tied to this specific dungeon. But as I said, let's not take the risk. Attuning the bonfire will allow us to get back here if we need. But for the time being, let's go back to Majula. Continue.
No, that was it.
About the Sonic 2 movie. Believe this is the one that, well, we did mention about Morbius anyway. Right, let me use this also to grow my stats in the meantime.
Oh, speaking of bad films, me and Pedro were watching the 1985 version of Nausicaa recently.
The Warriors of the Wind, yeah.
Yeah, it sucked. I mean, there were a few bits and pieces that were kind of unintentionally funny, but the rest of it was just sad. It's not even like the Digimon movie, where there are at least some legit funny bits. The most I got out of Warriors of the Wind were a couple of unintentionally funny bits, but the rest was just depressing to watch.
Rubbish.
Yeah, like one of the few funny bits, unintentionally, was when we use their 80s dub names here. Selena and Zandra, and that's Nausicaa's 80s dub name, were confronting each other, and Zandra was like, you're not as evil as you think you are, and then Selena was like, aha, yes I am, like it was a bloody 80s She-Ra episode.
Anyway,
And I
sorry,
remember
go.
Pedro's reaction very clearly to that scene. He yelled, "Villains don't think they're the villains."
Anyway, one thing that I can show you while we're here is something that I did slightly off screen. While granting a bit, I rescued one particular NPC, but I refused to talk to him specifically because he moves back to Majula here. This is, I forgot his name, the cartographer. He specializes in making maps.
Hello again. You've made it. The map, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. Take a good look.
It looks like a lever. This is supposed to be a general map of the entirety of Drang Lake. Again, more like of a stylization. That particular small flame is the one of Majula, where we are right now. If we defeat some key bosses, more flames will actually light up here and there. Until when all of them are complete, this guy might actually give us a reward as a thank you for doing it. But
More flames
let me see, I guess to say something else.
I don't know what causes it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the flame on the map? It wasn't there when I came here before. I don't know what explains it. But there is something greatly comforting about that flame.
Yeah, look, that old flame down there, yeah.
It seems to fulfill something
It's a representation.
deep within the soul. Something essential.
Much like a lot of the other characters, this guy also is having some potential, memory issues. Apparently, the longer you stay here in Drang Lake, the more your memory starts becoming fuzzy, a potential sign of
And
hollowing.
I finished the job. Now a foul
So the question will
smell
linger as why would you even come here in the first place? So the idea is potentially to seek glory or even, finding the mysteries of the place. Especially because, again, there's an entire theme of the game is ideally a cycle of death and rebirth, so there is that. Alright, if I recall correctly, I need to go... here, there we go, under this particular set of stairs. I forgot, however, how much I'm gonna potentially be charged. For fuck's sake. Let me kill the boars just to be sure in the meantime. Because those actually do net a bit of souls. By the way, another tool that I got in the meantime was the cat ring from the talking cat here in Majula. Right? It allows me to, sustain more of the falling damage, although it's not a guarantee for preventing the heals from falling damage. But it's something, I suppose.
Yeah, so what's that? I wear a helmet on my head. It doesn't always stop me from being killed if something hits it, but it's a start.
It's something, admittedly.
Yeah, that's the way you can assassinate characters in Hitman. Just shoot a dangling object over over your targets, and then it'll hit them, and the game and all the NPCs around treat it as if it was an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh no, the flower vase hit you on the head as you were walking underneath it and you died. What are the odds?
This contraption normally doesn't move, so let's actually proceed in the direction that is open right now. God, more stairs. Who built this place?
The developers.
Duh. Trust me, dudes, we haven't gotten some. This game is legendary for some very stupid level design. We haven't seen it yet.
Oh yeah, I've heard the horror stories.
It's okay. The horror story is actually, the require different types of way, but the level design takes its own set of cakes. Alright, this is a small sewer level, but it's actually more manageable compared to the one from the first game, admittedly. So let's actually get up here. If I recall correctly, there is an item somewhere around. Right, this serves only to open the other contraption. Okay. And here we get the Soul of a Lost Undead and a Broken Thief Sword. Yeah, we don't really need the ladder. Alright, and we emerge in, admittedly, Heide's Tower of Flame, one of the more impressive dungeons in terms of actually how it looks. It's this collection of of you know abandoned buildings, suspending over the water, kind of like a dilapidated Venice potentially, with a cathedral there, with a pull-up bridge, and this guy we might doesn't want to talk, and I get the idea that if we just attack him, he's not gonna be friendly, so let's leave him there. Believe it or not, this place actually was the one where received most changes, compared to the other dungeons in the game. Whoop. Because originally in the base game it was actually one of the easiest ones. It was actually very easy to avoid it was only these particular giant enemies which were very easy to avoid. And especially with a companion and the way the game balancing was actually handled, it was pretty much a piece of cake. So developers decided to retool it a bit by adding a couple more enemies for the Scholar of the First Edition, and while in the process tweaking a bit to what was already there. Which, fair enough, I do kind of agree that the original version was just a tad too easy on the side. And here what it's actually a proper NPC, not only NPC but an actual person. So let's summon them, shall we? Let's see who you are. Putifu 8.
Summoning.
Oh,
Petit
come
Fou.
on. We couldn't, alas.
Oh.
Happened to disconnect.
Could be, or if the summoning sign have a termination, and they are staying there only if the player stays online for obvious reasons. So maybe this player just got tired. Frankly, I'm just abused the fact that to this day, a lot of people are still playing this version of the game properly and want to play online, because again, everyone probably would have moved on to, like, say, Elden Ring, or at the very least Dark Souls 3. But no, some people are still here. Very interesting. No one else? No, I got bamboozled a bit. Okay, let's move on then. Now, these guys that are just sitting there are, I forgot what is very specific name, but they're like white knights properly. Again, if not provoked, they will not do anything. But some of them do not seem to be that passive, and sometimes they will actually do get up and try to attack you. So you need to watch out for nasty surprises.
Yeah, that was the
In it. There we go. Again, if you want to try to play a bit more aggressively, it is recommended you to use the weapon that you don't need to be ashamed or hesitant in using the weapon that you're currently holding, even a short sword, with two hands, since it does actually give a bit of boost, and you might be afraid that you will not be able to actually parry the incoming damage. We go. Of course, being suspended, a set of suspended platforms, you also need to watch out for, about falling into the water, which is obviously an insta-kill. There we go. Lord's Talisman. Alright, there is, if I recall correctly, there you go, a contraption here. Shall we pull the lever, Dweebs?
nah.
Here, It's
Always.
It's a surprise. So let's
Always.
let's decide with that coin toss. Do I have it? There it is. Give me a second. All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. All right, let's pull it. Let's see what happens, shall we?
Make sure it's not the wrong
Da
lever.
da da da. Da 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 da. It seems that platform in the background just gained a new ring to it. This might be actually useful for us, who knows. Let's proceed forward. And if my eyes are not mistaken, there's also a fucking dragon waiting for, before the cathedral. If I recall correctly, another addition to the Scholar of the First Edition. If I recall correctly, it's best to not move from here. Alright, let's try very carefully. Actually, no, it might be best if I defeated these guys first. Alright, first start is with you, Highlander dude.
Not enough queen.
Still can't believe, I forgot if I did mention in the commentary when we did a way back then the first Highlander movie that Clancy Brown is the villain of the first movie. So wild. Sure, Michael Ironside is the most remembered for terrible reasons, but and honestly, I don't remember the name of the actor, but the guy who plays the Guardian in the last movie, Highlander the Source, is equally hilarious just for different reasons.
I mean, it's Highlander. I mean, it was fascinating, but also really sad how a series that was theatrically released of each installment just downgraded to Sci-Fi Channel.
You'll be surprised. It's not even just that. The Sci-Fi Channel seemed to have taken, you know, upon itself to actually try to revitalize a lot of franchises. Believe it or not, like I mentioned in our commentary of that, they wanted to make a proper sequel to the John Carpenter's The Thing. And honestly, that on paper, that wouldn't sound a bit of a bad idea, but considering Sci-Fi Channel never has a decent budget for its production, it might have not turned out the way they wanted anyway, so it probably was best if they cancelled that.
Yeah, and a Highlander film in 2007.
Which at that point was completely estranged from the source material anyway, because it was basically a conclusion to the Highlander series instead, which not many people have watched anyway.
Again.
Yes?
Yeah, again, I only recently found out that there were more than 2 and that there are aliens.
Yeah. And again, Shiro, it's not even the wildest it gets, believe me.
Yeah, believe it or not, Shiro, the one with aliens, that's not the worst one in the series.
I can believe that.
Alright.
It's a toss-up between 2 and the Source.
Second lever, let's go.
Keep pulling the levers.
Yes.
The Price is Right getting here.
And yet another layer onto that platform, so we'll see what happens when we get there. Alright, let's see if I can get ambushed here or not. These guys seem to be still passive, thankfully, so let's not provoke them. Alright, let's get to this guy first.
Okay, now what you need to do is get out your rocket launcher.
What are you confusing with like specific reference?
Another game where you have rocket launchers fighting giants, night ghostly creatures with clubs.
Sure.
I'm sure it exists somewhere.
Palestone. I wonder what that is. And we have, if I recall correctly, an NPC. Masterless Glencour. Okay. So let's get him. This is a goddamn party, so let's get him out.
Wonder if it's gonna be like, you know, there's
No,
probably a
get here. Get the fuck here. Do not attack the White Knight, for fuck's sake. Get here. No.
Yeah, someone's.
No,
Yeah.
no, no, don't do it. Get here.
Sit.
This is
Sit,
not.
stay.
This is not an NPC. It's a fucking cat. All right, let's
You know,
go.
yes, somebody.
All right, this boss.
you know-
Let me give this for a second. This boss is called the Dragon Rider, and it doesn't ride a dragon for some reason. It just fights, you know, in the air. If we had not pulled the levers, the platform would have been very short in fighting this guy. So essentially, we made this fight particularly easy by, you know, pulling those.
I was gonna say, there's probably somebody who thought they were being really clever and calls their character, I don't know, Master B or something, Master B18. You know?
This fight is very PCZ, even without.
Yeah, those that brave or stupid their way through through the username trickery system.
Oh, like with Dumas.
Yeah. Something like that.
Even without the NPC, I could have easily beat this guy normally. But again, just for the flavor of it. This is if anything, this is another fight that doesn't accomplish too much. Sure, it unlocks some stuff, and is appreciated, but and oh shit, defeating this guy apparently awoke the White Knight. Nothing to see here. Let me just be, please. Yes, not then. Okay, we're doing this, man.
Since nobody knows the language exists, anyway, I wonder if I can bypass the swear censors in naming in video games with Welsh profanity.
I do know that this particular game loves to. The Dark Souls games have become creative in not allowing particular swearing words. And considering how a lot of stuff takes inspiration from Celtic cultures of all kind, I wouldn't still be too surprised if if some stuff is not allowed to be put. I don't know.
That'd be interesting to check, actually.
Okay, I actually was wrong. I forgot that the boss was guarding the entrance to another dungeon. But first, let's talk to this particular NPC who's this woman who's praying on the horizon.
Are you from these parts?
Actually, not really. Licia.
I have come to spread the art of miracles, a practice of which
Oh no,
I am
a
disciple.
priestess.
I can see that
How are
you
you
are well
doing?
suited to comprehend their wondrous power. But the cost of it, that's for your heart.
I swear there's a Fire Emblem character.
Well, considering how a lot of them are there, it's not too surprising. Let's see what she sells. Cleric Sacred Chimes? No, not really. A Ring of Prayer increases faith. And a bunch of miracles. Well, the garbage, all garbage.
I'd heard awful rumors about this place, and I'm afraid they were all true. The king, gone. The earth, ravaged.
That's another mystery to know, the fact that this land apparently is kingless, so it's more of a rabid state.
They may have scarce room in their hearts for miracles.
That explains a lot.
No need for miracles.
No need
The
for
gods
miracles.
frown upon
Sorry.
us.
Like, I'm kind of with patches on this one. Clerics in this particular set of franchise are not really trustworthy. Let's check instead the Sword of the Dragon Rider. Long ago, the Dragon Riders mounted wolves and were feared on the battlefield for their unparalleled strength. So, fair enough. Alright, we can, if I recall correctly, already go to the next dungeon from here, but let's try to, visit a bit more what, if we can actually progress through... Oh, hello there. Nice scythe. If we can progress through the rest of the Tower of a hike. I just dread the idea that we might have to fight all those White Knights. Well, here's hoping that it doesn't seem to be the case. It seems very much to be the case, for fuck's sake. And now I have to fight them alongside with the giant dudes. Yes, sir?
Can any of these enemies be defeated just by taking their helmets off?
Unfortunately, not really. For fuck's sake! You were retreating! Why the fuck have you... Oh, man. It shot a bit.
So the night that particular big guy tricked you with the power of...
Potentially. A small amount of tomfoolery.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I hope you don't mind if I just drink my potion.
Okay, let me recover stamina in the meantime. Ow.
That hurts, sir.
Yes, it does. Come on, I don't have all day.
I know this is
There
a
we
question typically asked nowadays, but any of you guys played Elden Ring?
No.
it's on my to-do list. Yes, but I can definitely tell you that I'm voting it for at least most of the categories for which it's gonna be candidated for the Game Awards. The only one that I generally don't think it's actually Ring of Binding. It really feels earned in the slightest is accessibility, mostly due to restrictions of terms. It doesn't really have much options for subtitles or better UI visualization. I don't mean those fake HUD done by satisfying what not Bethesda, but what Ubisoft thinks will be feeling right. I mean, in a sense of maybe making, for example, when you see the L bar on the left, top left, making a bit bigger or stuff like that. They doesn't really have those kind of options, so
It probably won't even be nominated for that award.
hopefully.
Anyway.
It would kind of be kind of a joke if they did. But again, the Game Awards are not being strange to do this kind of thing.
About having bizarre nominations.
Yes.
Like Last of Us 2 in anything except accessibility, music, and graphics.
Well, the acting I will also give a pass to.
It's also, again, I'm pretty much convinced that there were other particular cases with, but considering right now I'm kind of in a bit of a tough spot, I need a bit of time to think specific examples.
That's alright, I've already come
I know
up with
people were a bit.
Yes, Yuri?
I know people were a bit hung up on the Among Us nomination, and people were suggesting a new category, maybe like a Rising Star kind of award. Like, I don't know.
I get what you mean. I do remember also not particularly being impressed by Hades, considering that one was, oh, for fuck's sake, I forgot that the dragon was here.
That's what you get for saying bad mouthing Hades.
No, that's the thing. Again, it's a fantastic game on its own and an interesting way to approach the roguelike option, particularly also how it's hand-drawn. Again, the art style that it uses, the character design, the type of story, the type of story that it wants to tell as well, and the voice acting. Again, interestingly enough, the voice actor for Hades is the composer of the game. He was supposed to be a placeholder, but he sounded just so good that they decided to keep him, because why not? But
I didn't know that.
But again, by the point of the Game Awards, the game had already been like in early access on the Epic Game Store for like 2 years, so it was kind of more of a joke. Because despite the updates, the core stuff had still remained kind of the same. So at that point, winning property awards felt like we could have easily just candidated early on and call it a day.
Maybe they don't, like, I don't know, I don't check these things. Maybe they don't count early access as an actual release?
I do distinctly remember they tried to do that once at the very least, but again, it's sketchy all over the place, unfortunately. Alright, let's see if I can actually trick the fucking dragon.
We're just looking forward to the Xbox Bethesda show.
I cannot see it because I'm actually at work that day. But
I'm not sure if I am right now. I'll have to see when the time gets nearer. But suffice to say, I'm at the very least interested to see a few things. What they'll do for Game Pass this year, for the rest of the year. What any potential future exclusives for the system in the coming couple of years or so,
considering
and how much of a liar Phil Spencer can keep making himself.
Considering how they announced it last year, I'm probably confident we'll actually see some news about Contraband, the title that Avalanche Studios is making.
Is that the same Avalanche Studios that makes Just Cause?
Yes. So, like I said when they originally revealed, with that kind of, considering they have a consistent pedigree, you can kind of guess what type of game that it turned out to be, more of a open world kind of way, liberating camps, focusing on blowing shit up and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm confident that's gonna be essentially the experience. Alright, let's try to outrun the wyvern.
And speaking of Just Cause,
that's one of the RPs that Square is still having, despite it being original Idol 1, yeah.
Yeah, because basically, yes, Square are selling off the remainder of their old IDOS IPs
to the Embracer group,
to,
which will need means that we'll need to see how they're gonna be parted among the others.
Yeah,
Oh, for fuck's sake! Everyone is against me today.
the old THQ Nordic. And
Deep
okay,
Silver.
on one hand, I can understand the only IP that they've really been consistently using from it
It's Tomb Raider.
is Tomb Raider, and just one series out of bunch. I mean, the only other ones that they've really tried to do anything with were Thief and Deus Ex.
And yeah, they were not pretty either.
I mean, I haven't heard
Okay,
anything.
Human
I haven't
Revolution
heard they
was
were
fine.
bad.
Human Revolution was fine. Mankind Divided was more polarizing. They got something awesome by bringing back one of the voice actors for and the respective character from the very first game, because again, Human Revolution and Mankind Divided are prequels to the first game. So that was kind of neat in the way we were trying to tie in, but it was a bit too much of a mess. And it was actually one of the early examples of a single player plagued by microtransactions. So, yeah.
So in that grand scheme of things, it's probably for the best.
Yeah, that's the
That
same
the
that I
IPs
said. Like,
that the companies and the IPs go off to somebody else.
many people have scoffed at this kind of buyout in saying that, again, because of how frantic and frenzied the buyouts from different companies have been in recent times. But again, like I said, the Embracer Group has been doing this kind of, not takeovers, but something similar to this for the past couple of years, and nobody really batted an eye. So this is just another example of that. No, really, the thing to be kind of be sad about is the fact that for all the kind of package, Square sold it for like what it is essentially pocket money.
Yeah, the Embracer Group must have been thinking that was a bargain.
Basically, especially because they know pretty much how to actually use this kind of thing instead of... I'm definitely confident they're much more capable in using that kind of package rather than Square.
I'm also guessing that means that Tomb Raider Unlimited game isn't happening now.
Probably, we'll have to see. So again, I'm confident we'll actually see good results at the end of the day. Fuck. But they probably will need to take time, because again, one thing that the Embracer Group, tends to do is the fact that, oh, for fuck's sake, this is definitely not the right way. I'll have to properly do it.
You're having a terrible day.
Yes, that's the Dark Souls experience here, right? Don't worry, I'll grind some more of Scheme and we'll try this particular path another time. I'll just recover the souls and then proceed for the other direction for what time is remaining. Where was I? Right. The double-edged sword with the Embracer Group is the fact that being a European-based company, despite having this kind of big presence, they never really go that much on the AAA kind of budget. So, and unfortunately, a lot of times the results are visible on that front. A lot of times the games are riddled with bugs and need to be patched out multiple times. Even the recent SpongeBob Double for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated kind of suffered out of this. But at the end of the day, the experiences that they produce manages to still be, worthwhile for the players. And it has produced, again, good results like the Destroy All Humans remake, for example. Deep Silver is a bit of another story because, again, they're part of it and they do own some stuff like, again, the Saints Row franchise, but they're more notorious for being a bit more skeevy and not really good in handling their properties. Even more recently with they're doing for Saints Row, their marketing campaign has kind of been a bit of a disaster, so I don't know what they want to do.
Again, I'm kind of hoping that they can reach into IDOS's really, really back catalogue.
Like Akuji the Heartless. Does anyone even remember that aside of Nitro Red?
Yeah, it's like I've been saying before, I think Unholy War is ripe for a remake. It's got all the tools there, you just need to refine them and have an actual story there. Unless they really want a Little Witchy Mischiefs too.
I get the idea that they're probably gonna do something very, very easy for them, like an Insane Trilogy style version of the Gex trilogy, probably, considering that's relatively more easy to do.
Can we get a choice between the British and American voices again?
again, I don't really care in general, but sure, I don't really mind that.
Like,
either.
I've listened. Okay. I've listened to the American voice. Honestly, I don't really think it's that funny.
And again, it's the polar opposite. American audiences seem to be thinking the exact same for the British dub. So
I
it's
mean,
hilarious how things are polarizing.
Yeah, well, Americans, Brits.
Whoa,
Yeah, I
what
mean,
the fuck was doing again with you?
because
Sorry.
because basically, Shiroi, are you aware of the Gex voice acting thing?
Yes.
Yeah, and that how in the second game in our version he's voiced by the Sorting Hat,
Huh.
For some reason.
and then the third game he's voiced by the cat from Red Dwarf.
So he never had a consistent
it's
voice actor.
Yeah, it's literally seriously, Shiroi. It's literally Danny John Jules using his cat voice for the character.
Oh my god.
It would be neat to have a consistent voice actor across all three games, admittedly, this time around then.
Well, if they're gonna do an American British thing again, who would they get for the British side of things?
Peter Capaldi.
yeah.
I wanna switch the fucking channel!
Yeah. Have Gex sound like a Scot. Why not?
And be angry most of the time. Which, to be fair, that's not really his personality. Gex has always been more like the cool dude, so...
How about David Tennant?
Yeah, that could work. Honestly, even Matt Meat just for the sake of throwing him a poor bone.
Yeah, because he's really been struggling with finding good ones.
Okay, as someone, again, despite the fact that he had a terrible... I seriously hope House of the Dragon is a fine show, but something tells me it's not gonna be. Something irks me in saying that it's probably not gonna be, so...
Yeah, because it's the way the American voice says some lines. It just kind of grates on my brain.
If I recall correctly from the few clips that I heard, he's very over the top and kind of tries to do something similar to Gilbert Gottfried, I think.
Yeah, and okay, that's the thing. Gilbert Gottfried, rest his soul, is good at doing Gilbert Gottfried stuff. Not many other people are.
Mm-hmm.
And just trying to do an imitation of that was... Ooh.
Let me see what
Again,
this
maybe...
Go on.
Again, as we said before, maybe I'm just biased because I'm British. But I'd rather have suave sorting hat man as opposed to tail time.
I mean, we're British and therefore we're wrong about everything.
Of
We're talking about
course.
Siri. We're talking about Siri. Even Americans swoon at our posh accents.
Alright, the elevator music, I forgot how long it takes to this ride. Not much, I think. Yeah, I don't know much.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't really think that's not even really a thing anymore, though, is it? Having
What?
different voice casts for games.
I'm trying to think, but I don't think so.
This is a fancy elevator for this game.
It is actually, especially for this kind of sewer level. Oh great, and now the water is impeding my movement. Oh fuck. Corpses rising out of the water. That's never a good sign.
Don't you hate it when that happens? Walking in the park.
And look who is back there, the fucking basilisk. No, I'm ignoring you this time, mate. Sorry.
Don't look into his eyes.
It's not even
I'm
that.
going home.
It's not even that the ice waves. If you forgot what they do in the first game, they spit this cloud that makes you cursed, and curse is the worst debuff that you can get in any of these games. So, thank you, sir, kindly, but no, thank you, goodbye.
Yeah, no thanks.
Alright, if I recall correctly, there is a small cave, and then we'll get to the next dungeon. At least the bonfire, so we can save. Oh, actually, no, there you go. This would be good. Alright, I'm just gonna travel back to Majula to upgrade, and then we can call it a day. We did some stuff in this part anyway. So...
Ha, rhyming.
Mm-hmm.
So what have we learned today? Taking on a dragon under level is a bad idea. Um, it's really inconvenient when dead people come back from the grave as you're walking along.
Always pull the lever.
Yes.
And if at first you don't succeed,
Blast them with your
Die
blue eyes
and die
again.
again.
yeah, just like you would in real life.
That's deep, man.
Yeah.
Or
I know.
your dead will walk it off.
Well, then you'll be dead, so at least you don't have to worry about it.
I'll use these.
Oh, and me and Pedro recently we watched Inglorious Bastards. It was fun.
Yeah, it is.
And hey, it's one of those movies that actually knows that foreign characters, when they're talking to each other, won't speak English.
Also, the day before we're recording this, Deji showed Paul Pedro the B movie for the very first time.
Yeah, okay, I haven't seen that movie, but from what I've heard, it wasn't exactly played to Jerry Seinfeld's strengths, because he also, as well as being the main guy, he also produced and co-wrote the movie.
There we go. Alright, I think we're done for today, because I just tuned a bit more and used the grinded dust of bows to actually power up my Plestus Flask, a thing that you can do. So, tuning next time, where we probably, progress through the new dungeon that we have acquired, which if I recall already is called No Man's Wharf, like a dock station. So, see you for that.
See ya.
See ya.